In this video, we'll learn more about modifying templates and report columns. So in previous training videos, we talked about templates, we talked about report columns as well. But in this video, I want to show you what happens if you want to modify a template and modify its report columns accordingly. Because if you modify any template, Slurpit would warn you that you've changed something, you've probably changed some variables inside the TextFSM templates, and you probably want to update its report columns accordingly. And this is something that you should do 99% of the times. Now, let's see what we have here. We have two devices. Let me go to devices. We have iOS and iOS XE. These are two market devices. So what I want to do here is show you something, show you the problem. I'll go to collected data. I'll go to LDP. And this is the LDP planning that I fetch from these two devices. As you can see, it is off. The interface column is empty. Description is empty as well, but it's probably because there was no description. Neighbor column is also empty. So this TextFSM template, the existing one, whatever it is not useful to us because we don't have the local interface. We have the neighbor interface, but we don't have the neighbor device. So clearly this is not good and we want to change that. So what I'll do here is I'll go to planning first, see what we have inside the planning, go to LLDP, and from here I'm gonna filter for Cisco iOS and iOS XE. I should do for both of them. So for Cisco iOS, we have show LDP neighbors detail. What I want is iOS here show LDP neighbors. This is what I want and not neighbors detail. I'll add and filter for XE. And from here, I'll do the same. Show LDP with underscore, of course, LDP neighbors, and it will put the command for me as well. So I'll add. Now, I have to go back here because I want to modify the report columns as well. But for now, I'll close, go to templates, overview, and I will say Cisco iOS and say show LDP neighbors. This is the one that we just added. So I'll click on modify this pencil button, and this is the template that is not good and want to change. So what I'll do here is I'll use the TextFSM builder, try to put a raw CLI command into it and generate a TextFSM template accordingly. There we go. I input the CLI data. It generated the TextFSM template, and this is the result. Everything looks good to me. Device ID is the remote device. You can change these variable names, of course, to be more precise. Device ID is the remote device. Local interface is our local interface. And port ID is the remote port. So basically what I've done is I've artificially connected these two devices together, iOS and XE, and they both have a port called ETH11. And their neighbor through that port, again, one is local, one is remote. So now with that being said, with this information, I should go to, I have to copy this, paste in here. You can also select another template to not mess with the original one that we have, but it is good. I'll save and I will filter for XE and do the exact same thing, because at the end of the day, the output of the CLI for these two operating systems would be the same. And this is for XE. I'll save. So we are almost finished. The only thing left to do is changing the report columns, because report columns are going to be inside the collected data. And this is what we see inside collected data. So if I go to LLDP, inside collected data, we have a bunch of columns. And what we need to do is map these variables. Actually, these are the variables. And map these to the the column that want to display. So from here, I'll go to planning, go to LDP one more time, and interface is going to be the local interface. What I have here is local int f. So this is what I need to add. Local interface, there we go. Neighbor interface is port ID. Again, you can change these to be more precise and accurate. I will paste port ID here. And the good thing about this interface is that if you have that variable, it will recognize it for you as well. So if you're inputting something wrong and you don't see that value here inside the UI, then you know that variable does not exist. So there we go. Neighbor is going to be device ID, because from here, device ID from the CLI output is actually the remote device. So here, paste device ID again. I will select, it recognizes that. And I'm not worried about other stuff, because what I need to know about the LDP output is the remote port and device, and local port and device. Local device was fine. It was recognizing it from the beginning, but neighbor interface is what we added. Interface is the local interface, is what we added. And also neighbor or neighbor device is something else that we added. Now I will close. It set it for me. The last thing is to run the LDP planning, because we want to run it one more time for the new data to come in. So from here, I'll go to data collector. There are no running jobs, and that's probably a good sign if you didn't get any errors. I'll go to collected data, LDP. There we go. We have some entries. And as you can see, there are some entries that are still wrong. And this is for the other command, for the other template, which is show LDP neighbors detail. These two, this one and this one, is for show LDP neighbors. As you can see, the host, which was correct from the beginning, we have the interface, local interface, and neighbor interface, and no description, because description is for show LDP neighbors detail. And this is the remote device or a neighbor device. So this is how you can modify templates, modify its report columns, and fix any unexpected behavior in terms of fetching data.